Hello, it's a lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet Television Main News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo to present. Our top stories in the news tonight: online taxi drivers continue their streak of protests. FFTUZ advises government against attributing its failures on civil servants. KABWE street vendors vow to defy the ultimatum to leave the streets. In international news, the Gambia sets up investigative panel to examine coup attempt. And in sports news, ex-BAYERN Munich boss SCHEUER is new manager for BRIGHTON.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, my dear. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is inviting all skillfully gifted, talented and creative soccer players from across Zambia. Ages between 16 and 20 must come, train and join the club. The category of these gifted footballers have the chance to go and market their talent in Europe and USA through Camnet Stars Football Club, a team formed with a vision to produce quality international players. Please do not miss this brief open opportunity given to you. Camnet Stars Football Club could be your gateway to your international soccer career. Venue: Kablonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Date: 12th December 2022 to 21st January 2023. Time: 09 hours to 11 hours. Your time to shine is now.
Another news in detail. Online taxi drivers in Lusaka have protested over what they term exploitation by online hailing services. The aggrieved drivers Wednesday morning packed their vehicles and marched to the Ministry of Transport and Logistics, demanding that they be addressed by the Minister, Frank Tayali. The drivers have explained that they have on several occasions tried to engage the ministry on the matter but have received no help. And Ministry of Transport and Logistics Director Planning and Monitoring Stephen Mbewe informed the aggrieved drivers that the minister was not in his office and has assured them that their issue will be addressed in the shortest possible time. More in this report.
It was keys down and cars parked for online taxi drivers in Lusaka who Wednesday morning protested over what they term exploitation by application owners such as Yango. Despite many attempts made to get a permit to hold a peaceful protest, police officers informed the drivers that they never received their notice on time and encouraged them not to go ahead with the planned protest.
We spoke to them, they said, we are not going to allow you going to march. The reason being that there are few police officers who will be able to protect you on the way. In the process, they said, we are not going to cancel your protest. What we are going to do, they told us, you can go and petition the case at Ministry of Transport and Logistics.
However, these drivers feel enough is enough and could not yield to the advice to haunt the protest, but instead decided to go ahead, saying several attempts have been made to engage the relevant authorities, but to no avail.
My taxi drivers, my online taxi drivers, we are a registered organization. We got a permit for this meeting. We are not going to make cause confusion. We are not going to cause commotion. We are here. We want our country to hear about this.
The drivers then marched from Manda Hill to the Ministry of Transport and Logistics, where they sought the attention of the Minister Frank Tayali. Seeing the wave of protesters approaching, the security guard attempted to close the gate to prevent the protesters from entering the premises, but his efforts were in vain. For these drivers, their slogan was that Yango must go. Meanwhile, several attempts were made by the officials from the ministry and the police to address the aggrieved drivers, but all efforts failed as they only wanted the minister to address them. After several hours of negotiating, the leaders of the Taxi Drivers Association of Zambia and the ministry came to an agreement that their matter will be resolved in the shortest possible time.
Standing in for the minister and the PS, we've informed them about your petition. We will arrange a meeting. We've gotten the numbers for your leaders, and we will call even the hailing companies so that we can come and have discussion. So that maybe within 2 weeks we'll be able to
As drivers, we are giving the minister to get back to us by tomorrow. Listen, the minister is not in his office, he's by the cabinet. We've understood, but by tomorrow the minister let him give us a feedback. So from now, let us be peacefully go home, then we'll get back to you. We are all feeling your pinch.
For now, these drivers have given the ministry up to tomorrow, Thursday, 29th December 2022, in which to hear from the minister. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Meanwhile, bus drivers in Mumbwa district of Central Province have appealed to government to put up a modern shelter at the main bus station. In an interview with Camnet TV, the drivers have observed that since the time their only structure was demolished by Mumbwa Town Council in 2020, no effort has been made from government to construct a new one. They have, however, stated that Central Province Minister Credo Nanjua had a meeting with all drivers in the district early this year and assured them of erecting a modern structure before the end of 2022, but nothing has been done. More in the following report.
As the population of a particular area begins to grow, many changes are assured and begin to show in all spheres of life. However, this scenario has not been the case for bus drivers in Mumbwa district of Central Province, who have been operating here without a shelter, prompting them to call for government to come to their aid.
So bantu apa bali kuvutika na mvula ndaloka mvula kulipo kumi mutanga tabili tilipe matoileti tilipe shota yamene bantu banga nkali so niye vuto emeti nawe kukupa station so that pepa kuwa council momenta kambia kudala kuti banga tibweze station yapi yamenze kudala kama shota wi station manje butulelomba kuli bwe buteko muletu bika pesa tulepa kuna kwa shota mtupige shota pa Mumbwa esi tulelombe chikaramba mwatulika ko shota abantu abantu bari kuna big bus rwase mfura barika ko mushota is complaining tulelomba kubuteko mtweleleko.
And District Taxi Drivers Association Chairperson Simon Kafwangula says they had a meeting early this year with Central Province Minister Credo Nanjua, who assured them of putting up a modern structure before the end of this year, but nothing has materialized.
From the time when this government been up with power, new Don government, in a 1 year plus, up to now, per station, we believe it was state and local development areas, America on up on Sajabati, CDF, Yasevenzaco Paso, would be up to today. Tinkala per station without the shelter, my passengers about Mitengo, Makatundu, Mvure, Capuera Monga, Elen season, Pameti, would be able to committing a Bereke Katundu, remember we come my bus.
Meanwhile, Esho Marumbe, a passenger, has noted with concern some challenges children face, especially when it's raining.
So pano tuli passengers zona but inienda ku stages but monga kwa mwame napezera pa station pano shelter palibe zeni clean pali bwino pano pa station timalokewa kulikulokewa lero tibwera na bana bang'ono so bana bang'ono kuti basitaba kuyenda mu mashopu y'abantu kusoma mashopu y'abantu wavuta enanga
Mathias Chewe, Camnet News, Mumboa.
Street vendors in KABWE Central Province have vowed not to vacate the streets, defying the ultimatum given to them by KABWE Municipal Council to leave the streets by 31st December 2022. Aggrieved street vendors have further accused the United Party for National Development UPND New Dawn government of lamentably failing to run the country's affairs. However, KABWE Municipal Council Public Relations Officer Nancy Chenga has maintained that by 31 December 2022, vendors have to leave the streets or else risk being arrested and prosecuted by the law.
We are ready to go.
The street vendors in KABWE have resisted an ultimatum given to them by KABWE Municipal Council to vacate the street. The local authority in KABWE has given the vendors up to 31st December 2022 to vacate the streets. Vendors who are trading in the Central Business District have, however, vowed not to vacate the streets.
Vulnerable people, but grassroots level, we are very disappointed. The people, the leadership we have here in KABWE, they are very clear to have to become full of it. But they are more position about people that everybody who start attacking vendors. But if you are wrong, but when I just because I can't sofa, why not safe?
According to my own non-kind information, ngachakutia tulipira ndala meingi sana, which means ni 800 kwacha per day, for which iyo 800 kwacha for 30 days nishi yapanga shinga. Ngachakutira pari 1 year nishikuti yapanga shinga.
Ngana wafiro kuteka abantu bande kati tuwafirwa. Tapari watu wala tina, wewe wabikama usezi ni fwebu. Wale maziro fo, pia mkuvota. But even just because waikara, baba setodi, wamoneka foolish. We are not expecting steps to nyapa kutantara mwa hapa hapa mutenge. The same radele no mwabo mfesho kuya pamu, the same radele tukapiponesha.
However, the local authority has warned that vendors who are planning to defy the march order will be arrested and prosecuted in the courts of law. Speaking in an interview, KABWE Municipal Council Public Relations Officer Nancy Chenga has maintained that 31st December 2022, vendors will have to leave the streets.
Yes, I can confirm that we have, as a municipality of KABWE, given vendors days in which they have to prepare psychologically that come 1st of January they all have to be in designated trading places.
Petronella Msangulure, Camnet TV News, in KABWE, Central Province.
Small-scale farmers in Mumbwa district have called on the named supplier contracted by government to deliver the 2022 urea fertilizer under the Farmer Input Support Program FISP to supply the inputs. Some farmers spoken to say the contractor who was engaged to deliver inputs has failed to meet their expectations and has since called for termination of the contract. The irate farmers further say since the time urea fertilizer ran out of stock in the district, they have been trekking to the district agricultural office with no satisfactory response being given. More in this report.
These are the views of angry small-scale farmers in Mumbwa district who have been trekking from their various homes in order to get their urea fertilizer under the Farmer Input Support Program FISP. The farmers have wondered why the named suppliers failed to deliver inputs on time according to their expectations.
ono urea twakwanya 3 weeks tawe jipanjigano olo 1 balatuje bamba kuti matraki ali munzira tu balamba bo matraki ahwa so ali mitwa forcing kwamba kuti atugabone ba DC babatumina abo bantute kwa batwambire masimpe ono kuli ba DC twajana gambo gawamba kuti matraki factories ngo ba GCD ngo munji 15,000 so njo banda kuti bayijinche kuba mwe ba urea
vuto ikulu niona kuti tankhala muno mumumbo amadezi apaka urea stipeza diti ratenga manje taona kuti tundalama twasira tizadia chani tizagona kuti stisamba so tenzopemba kuti mametanya mkira kuenda kuli ba DC kuja tenzoganiza kuti vakusogolo boma iyanganepo buno chifika kumumbo masiku onse kuli vuto ikafika ino nthawi kulima timapaswa ulemo pogulisa but polima sipaswa ulemo potenga ma inputs sipaswa ulemo so tenzopemba kuti boma inkale pansi yanganepo.
Others have blamed government for contracting a named supplier to deliver inputs in the district.
Inoskebo trapona bumi buli buti. Fertilizer turajenga wamba kuti fertilizer irabora iri mu road. Fertilizer taigo tubuginga maruma go na bwaja so oni wina. Inoskebo trapona buti. So turanganya wamba uti aba basorori bari kumbere aba bajinche transfer bonse tarigira DC bazwe baunke gumbi.
In fact utimarangire babiba kimaba yagwa bara deposit muno mu January ne mbuto yakubora ri next week in January anabonoza mutambara mu 27th bantaba na deposit no bakutambara bayakutambara aba bari mu office yabajindije abakuti basumpugira amitweso tubarimo awuse turapenga aba tuberegere nayaga ga office abajinche ama by election ara kuhuzumira tabe mu FFTUZ ari kubeji twari kwenda kuchincha tuchincha buleto inchabulero kutupenya tupenge debo ya bulero baboro buno kumumbwa.
Late supplying of urea fertilizer to the district will result in crops not having required nutrients, thereby reducing on their yields. SCHEUER, Camnet News, Mamboa.
A political activist, Charles Mwelwa, has warned that it will be suicidal for government to think they can implement people-centered policies prior to the 2026 general election. In an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Mwelwa notes that the cost of living is beyond the reach of many Zambians and that it seems that they are not in a hurry to cushion the situation. Mr. Mwelwa has reminded the United Party for National Development to be mindful that the Patriotic Front was voted out of office for many reasons, among them the high cost of living and cadarism. He has since advised the UPND to take measures that will safeguard citizens now, adding that if they wait until 2024, their intentions will be treated as political gimmicks aimed at hoodwinking citizens to give them another mandate.
Cost of living is not something that people should play around with, especially the voters out there. It may be looking like a joke, but it's a very serious matter. So the UPND, His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, should not wait for the last 2 years to address that issue. You know what removed the PF from power was, one, the cost of living and the issue of cadres. If these issues are not actually addressed, then you wait for 2023, 2024, 2025, that's when you address it. We have seen it before. People were removed out of power because of that. So it has to be addressed now. The issue of fuel must be reduced. That one, let's not even debate. It's very expensive. Life is very expensive. It is very high. So the president should not wait for that. Even with all the infrastructure development that PF did, because of this cost of living and cadalism, PF was removed out of power. What about the UPND who have not even done the infrastructure development? It will be worse. So let them address it now. People expected it to be lower than it was in PF.
Federation of Free Trade Unions of Zambia, FFTUZ General Secretary Victor Muyumba is saddened that every political party that forms government tends to blame civil servants for their failure to deliver on campaign promises. Mr. Muyumba says while civil servants are responsible for implementing government programs, the tendency of entirely blaming the civil service is unfair and must not be tolerated. He tells Camnet News that civil servants have a code of conduct that governs their operations, stressing that incompetence in civil service is a punishable offense. The union leader says blaming civil servants every time has brought discomfort and is dampening the morale of the workers in the public service. Meanwhile, Mr. Muyumba has challenged Secretary to the Cabinet, Patrick Kangwa, to update the nation on the progress made in reuniting couples in the service serving in different locations.
To his relief, and probably everyone's relief who has been close to him. Now that he is substantively appointed as Secretary to Cabinet, there are a number of issues that he needs to substantively work on. As you have aptly put it, during Teachers' Day, the President gave a one-week ultimatum within which the civil service was supposed to come out clearly on their position in terms of the reuniting of couples. But we are talking about almost 2 months down the line. Position is not known. No explanation. And these are the issues we are talking about. What happened to that ultimatum? What happened to that ultimatum? Or what is going on? If it's difficult, you come out and say, this is a non-starter, it is difficult, and like keeping quiet. If there's something that is being done, you explain. This process started and this is how it is moving. We expect by the end of this particular month, everything to have been put in perspective. And this is how we expect Secretary to Cabinet and his team to work. He's civil servant #1, and he needs now to substantively preside over these issues. Civil servants are still in limbo. They are asking, when am I going to be reunited with my spouse? We know that it's not just about moving from Kapiri to Lusaka, but one may want to move from Lusaka to Kapiri. Have we given a go-ahead? What are the hiccups? What are the hitches? We need to appreciate that. So we call upon the Secretary to Cabinet to simply explain to the nation as to what is happening vis-a-vis the reuniting of couples, so that our civil servants can appreciate the process.
Minister of Education Douglas Siakalima says the development of the National Occupational Standards is vital to ensure that the workforce has the relevant skills required by the industry. Speaking at the launch of the National Occupational Standards NOS for the tourism and agriculture sector, Mr. Siakalima says government is conscious of the concerns from industry with regard to the skills gap that exists in key economic sectors of the country that include the tourism and agricultural sectors. The minister says NOS will allow employees to get a good understanding of what they need to know for their job and what they need to do on their job. Meanwhile, Zambia Qualifications Authority Acting Chief Executive Officer Messi Ngoma says the authority has been having financial challenges in the development of NOS, which has resulted in fewer NOS being developed.
The involvement of stakeholders in the development of the National Occupational Standards that we are launching today is very important because it is vital for the success and effectiveness of the NOS industry. Industry players have the expertise and technical know-how of what skills are lacking in industry. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, ZACO embarked on the journey of developing NOS in 2019. It is worth noting that the NOS being developed are in addition to the NOS that have already been developed. In 2020, ZACO developed 6 NOS for the tourism sector and 6 NOS for the agriculture sector. The development of national occupational standards is vital to ensure that the workforce has the relevant skills required by industry. The government is conscious of the concerns from industry with regard to the skills gap that exists in key economic sectors of our country, that include the tourism and agriculture sector.
After the drafting, Minister, these are sent out for wider commenting and review by the members of the public and the sector, because we can't have everyone sitting on the National Occupational Standards Development team.
We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Cabbages, onions, maize, potatoes, tomatoes, chilies. At Rainglow, we supply great quality irrigation for the mentioned crops and more at an affordable price. Get our 2,000 meter flat drip for as low as 2,900 kwacha, or our 500 meter round hose for 1,300 kwacha. Customize your own spacing with our 500 meter blank round hose going for 1,200 kwacha, ideal for orchards such as avocado, mango, banana, oranges, etc. Rainglow irrigation, best quality, best price.
Good news, good news. The rains have started. You need to plan your future. Generation Wealth is the way to go. Has grafted avocado plants fruiting within 2 to 3 years for sale at only 90 kwacha each, and ordinary avocados at only 45 kwacha each. Contact us on 0979 753010 or 0962 965 883. We are open from 8 hours to 17 hours, Monday to Friday, at Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill, opposite Hilltop Hospital.
Welcome back. Chikankata constituency member of parliament Jacqueline Savao has emphasized the government's desire to provide quality healthcare services to Zambians. Ms. Savao has hailed the international drug company IDC for donating various medical items and drugs to Chikankata Mission Hospital. Speaking shortly before receiving the donation, Ms. Savao says no meaningful development can be achieved without a healthy personnel. Speaking at the same event, Beatrice Tembo, Division Manager for International Drug Company, IDC, says as a key stakeholder in the health sector, the company takes keen interest in the health sector, and the company takes keen interest in the developments affecting the entire sector. Meanwhile, Major Cherista Hanunka, Mapangazia Division Commander for Salvation Army, which looks after the hospital, thanked IDC for the donation, saying it would go a long way in addressing some challenges the hospital was facing. The medical items donated included cloxine capsules and syrup, syringes, cannulas, and needles, among others, all valued at 60,000 kwacha.
Yes, the need for adequate medical supplies in our health facilities to help keep our people healthy. As a new Dawn government, we welcome cooperating partners that will supplement the government's efforts in the provision of healthcare services among our people. The desire of the new Dawn government is to provide quality healthcare services to all Zambians. It is in this regard that we are inviting well-wishers like the IDC and other organizations to join hands with the government and save our people in various sectors of our economy.
Our mission of people's health first before profits. I would like to end by thanking government for this opportunity of our willingness to support the government and the people of Zambia and ensuring quality healthcare delivery is achieved.
We all know the hospital, this hospital is one of the ministries of the Salvation Army, and our motto as the Salvation Army is hand to man and heart to God. And so this is the ministry that the hospital is doing. And so allow me to say thank you to the International Drug Company.
The Ministry of Finance says the decline of nature is a critical development issue, and the country must ensure that all natural capital assets are mainstreamed in the development plan and the system of the Zambia's macroeconomic account. Ministry Permanent Secretary Dennis Chisenda says there is a need for the inclusion of natural resources in ecosystems development planning, as 40% of the country's wealth is made up of natural resources. He said this in Lusaka during the launch of the Natural Capital of the Wealth Accounting and Valuation Ecosystems Report on Land and Water. The reports are meant to provide policymakers with accurate data on the country's natural resources, which is intended to feed into development planning in various sectors. And speaking at the same event, World Bank Acting Country Director Ngao Mubanga says the program will help Zambia to achieve sustainable development by including natural resources values and enhanced management of resources.
Recognizes that the decline of nature is a critical development issue, and we must ensure that all natural resources or natural capital assets are mainstreamed in the development planning and the system of national accounts, of Zambia's macroeconomic accounts. Today's launch is of great significance in that about 40% of Zambia's wealth lies its natural resource base.
Used to inform policymakers in a timely manner to develop appropriate interventions to give generations to come a more sustainable environment. These interventions, guided by actual natural capital data, may result in improved mitigation and adaptation strategies to address the challenges of climate change, which the country is currently facing, as well as better natural resource management, which is a key input in the country's economic growth model.
The Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, CCPC, has fined Airtel Money and Farm Depot 3% of their respective annual turnovers for engaging in anti-competitive business practices. CCPC Public Relations Officer Rainford Mutabi says the two companies were fined during the 59th Board of Commissioners meeting on the adjudication of cases held in Lusaka on the 5th of December 2022. Mr. Mutabi says according to CCPC's investigations, it was established that Airtel Money had engaged in discriminatory conduct by charging different fees to players in the betting and gaming markets.
So the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission Board of Commissioners has fined Airtel Money and Fund Depot 3% of their respective annual turnovers for engaging in anti-competitive business practices. In the case of Airtel Money, the Commission established that the company had engaged in discriminatory conduct by charging different fees to players in the betting and gaming markets, which is contrary to Section 16 of the Competition and Consumer Protection Act number 24 of 2010. In the case of Fund Depot, the company was found to have engaged in a restrictive business practice of tying the purchase of day-old chicks to buying chicken feed, which is also tantamount to abrogation or contravention of Section 16 of the Competition and Consumer Protection Act number 24 of 2010.
This is Camnet Television, not just another channel. We take our second and final break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
In our quest to save nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
Camnet Stars Football Club, popularly known as the local national team, is inviting all skillfully, gifted, talented and creative soccer players from across Zambia, ages between 16 and 20, must come, train and join the club. The category of these gifted footballers have the chance to go and market their talent in Europe and USA through Camnet Stars Football Club, a team formed with a vision to produce quality international players. Please do not miss this brief open opportunity given to you. Camnet Stars Football Club could be your gateway to your international soccer career. Venue, Kablonga Boys Secondary School grounds. Date 12th December 2022 to 21st January 2023. Time 09 hours to 11 hours. Your time to shine is now.
In international news tonight, the Gambia on Tuesday, December 27, established an investigative panel following the arrest of alleged coup plotters. The panel will have 30 days to report back on last week's coup attempt. The 11-member inquiry group was sworn in and includes members from the Justice Ministry, the Office of National Security, military forces, the police and intelligence agencies, a spokesman stated. A captain and lieutenant are among military men who have been arrested. According to an official statement, they are helping unearth allegations of plans to overthrow President Adama Barrow's government. Mamadou Sabali, the Minister of Presidential Affairs under former leader Yahya Jammeh, has been imprisoned. He appeared in a video in which he allegedly suggested President Barrow would be deposed prior to the upcoming municipal elections. His party, the United Democratic Party, demanded his immediate release. Since 2020, military takeovers in Mali, Guinea and Burkina Faso have shaken West Africa. Here's a roundup of international news for more.
The Gambia on Tuesday established an investigative panel following the arrest of alleged coup plotters. The panel will have 30 days to report back on last week's failed coup attempt. The 11-member inquiry group was sworn in and includes members from the Justice Ministry, the Office of National Security, military forces, the police and intelligence agencies. A captain and lieutenant are among military men who have been arrested. According to an official statement, they are helping unearth allegations of plans to overthrow President Adama Barrow's government. Mamadou Sabali, the Minister of Presidential Affairs, and the former leader Yahya Jammeh, has been imprisoned. He appeared in a video in which he allegedly suggested President Barrow would be deposed prior to the upcoming municipal elections. His party demanded his immediate release. Since 2020, military takeovers in Mali, Guinea and Burkina Faso have shaken West Africa. Adama Barrow was elected to a second term in 2021. As the conflict in northern Ethiopia appears to calm, resolving thorny issues remains a cornerstone for the former warring parties. During the first visit to the region by a high-level government delegation since the peace deal was signed, Tigray's regional president Debretsion insisted lasting peace would only prevail once Eritrean troops and Amhara militias leave Tigray. Speaking earlier this week, the Tigray's People Liberation Front official accused the troops of invading the region, adding people were being killed. Access and communications in Tigray being restricted make it difficult to independently verify the situation on the ground. Fighters coming from neighboring Amhara region and Eritrea backed the federal authorities during the nearly 2-year-long war. Ethiopian officials have not said whether these fighters would disengage from Tigray. Neither is it part of the peace deal struck between the government and TPLF rebels. The African Union envoy helping to mediate the talks called for the withdrawal of quote-unquote foreign troops.
Angola's Supreme Court ordered on Tuesday the preventive seizure of assets of Isabel dos Santos, daughter of former President Eduardo dos Santos, deceased last year. This is the second seizure of Isabel dos Santos' assets in Angola since 2019. The court order covers 100% of the shares of the company Embalvidro, of which the defendant is the beneficial owner, as well as the balances of all bank accounts owned or co-owned by the daughter of the former Angolan president. Also included are Isabel dos Santos' shares in mobile networks in Mozambique, Cape Verde and São Tomé e Príncipe. According to Angola's Supreme Court, the businesswoman damaged the Angolan state in over 1 billion euros in other criminal cases with evidence of embezzlement, influence peddling, economic participation in companies and money laundering. The decision by the Angolan Supreme Court was based on documents from state oil company Sonangol and mobile phone company Unitel, as well as information provided by Portuguese and Dutch authorities.
It's now time for sports news. Now, sports news tonight, Brighton and Hove Albion have named Jens Scheuer as Hope Powell's successor as head coach, subject to the German being granted a work permit. Amy Merricks has been caretaker coach of the Women's Super League's second bottom side since the ex-England boss resigned in October after an 8-0 loss. Subject to his work permit being granted, SCHEUER's first match in charge will be a crucial one, with the Seagulls playing at the WSL's bottom club Leicester City on 15 January when the season resumes. BRIGHTON have only 7 points from 8 games, but are well clear of the Foxes, who have yet to pick up a point this season. To end Camnet television news, the stories that make headlines once again. Online taxi drivers continue their streak of protests. FFTUZ advises government against attributing its failures on civil servants. KABWE street vendors vow to defy the ultimatum to leave the streets. In international news, the Gambia sets up investigative panel to examine coup attempt. And in sports news, ex-BAYERN Munich coach SCHEUER is new manager for Brighton. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from Matthew 11 verse 28. Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Thank you once again for watching Camnet Television News. I'm Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.